Welcome back to Dream Builders. I'm Scott Morgan. Even though Keystone is mined from rough coral rock, it can add warmth and beauty to a home. Transforming raw materials into inviting home accents is truly an art form. And Steve Greenberg found a craftsman right here in South Florida who's mastered this art with metal.
When Jane DeBow was decorating her home, she decided to use metal, lots of metal.
Well, when you start with one and you fall in love with it so much, you think, oh, I'll have another one. So we put it somewhere else, and all of a sudden it's like another and another because they're so wonderful. We have one here, we want one over here. We want to go from space to space with it. It's so fabulous.
Admiring the home's flora and fauna might lead you to Jane's aluminum palm tree.
That juxtaposition of the metal with the real palm tree is almost humorous. And I think everybody's home ought to have a little humor in it.
There's a 9-foot stainless steel geometric sculpture.
It's a nice contrast to the environment around it, to the boats, the water, and everything. And I think in the shininess of it, it reflects the sun in such a beautiful way.
Jane's love of metal design extends to her wine closet doors. This piece combines metal scrolls with green glass and amber glass drapes.
It just says everything about what's behind the doors to me.
There's this metal bench. And as Jane's neighbors are into unusual mailboxes, she had her mailbox designed to match her brushed metal front doors. And maybe the most spectacular piece is this room divider, which mixes free-flowing, colorful aluminum shapes with curved, polished construction rebar.
After we moved in, that the house had such a void there where there's just an opening. And seeing right through the front door, there needed to be some kind of screen, you know, not like a drapery, a fabric-y thing, but something that you could see through but yet is a divider that keeps you from going past. And I don't know, the color makes you happy, and it's a great conversation piece at the dinner table, too.
Most of Jane's metalwork is the artistry of Glen Mayo of Artweld.
The architectural pieces need to have a certain structural integrity to them, whether there are some doors or railings and so forth. So as much as it needs to look good, it needs to serve the purpose and to be strong in place.
Glen considers all of his creations art, but knows that some pieces need to perform a function, such as his fireplace screens, or his railings, or these elevator doors.
It's got to be both structurally sound and aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
The process begins by coming up with a sketch after talking to the client. Once a look is decided upon, Glen will sometimes create a true-size template,
so that we can accurately see how the piece will go from the full-size drawing to the actual location.
Now, one of the decisions that Glen has to wrestle with before doing a piece is deciding what metal to use. There are a lot of choices out there. For example, this is aluminum and this is stainless steel. When they're polished up, they look very similar, but they have very different properties. And depending on what the piece is and where it's going to go, that decides what metal he's going to use.
The aluminum tends to be softer and a little bit easier to work with in some cases. In other cases where you do want something harder and stronger, in a case like that, I pretty much tend to use the stainless steel.
Next, depending on the piece, Glen cuts the metal. If necessary, he adds a few curves with a plate roller. After grinding the metal, Glen's pieces often require welding. And there's always the polishing.
For the most part, contemporary pieces would be in a very high-polished stainless steel. Maybe in some cases a brushed finish is good. Other pieces that want a more traditional or classic look are usually wrought iron. They can get chemical patinas, they can get natural rust finishes and so forth.
For Jane DeBow, metal has no limitations.
It can be smooth, it can be shiny, it can be dull, it can be dark, it can be colored. It can be so many different things. It can so much to offer in such a variety.
And that's what makes metal hard to beat when it comes to home accents.
You walk through your house, you see them again and again, but every time you look at them and you think, oh, I really love that. It just makes me feel so good.